Am, is, was, have, had, do, does, did. Confused how and where to use these words and want to know what exactly these words are? Then this video is for you. Hello friends, welcome back to Dinas Academy. And this lesson is going to be the important lesson as we are going to deal the most essential part of grammar, that is verb. And in this video, we are going to discuss about the auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. And there are other types of verbs which are called modal verbs, and there is a dedicated video about this. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. And do watch the complete video to get the clear understanding of the concept. Okay, let's get into the topic. Before knowing what are the helping verbs, it's important to know what is a verb. Verb is an action word or a state of being. It can express a physical action, a mental action, or a state of being. For example, she crawled for the first time today. In the given example, crawled is a verb and it indicates the physical action. Let's move to the next example. She learns new things every day. In this example, learns is a verb and it indicates an mental action. The third one, Ramu is 6 months old. Here, is a verb and it indicates a state of being. Hence, verb indicates a physical action, mental action, and a state of being. In simple terms, verb is an action word as the word verb is taken from a Latin word verbum, which means an action or state of being. Alright, let's move on to the one special category of verb, that is helping verb. They are also called as auxiliary verbs. Then, what are the functions of helping verbs? Helping verbs can do many things in a sentence. They can change the verb tense, form question, create passive voice, and more. The special characteristics of helping verbs are these verbs do not mean anything on their own and they just help the main verbs to express their full meanings and are necessary for grammatical structure of a sentence. And they are usually used with a main verb in a sentence to express an action or state, like helping verb plus main verb is equal to complete idea. Alright, helping verbs or primary verbs are classified into three categories. The first one, to do verbs, the second one, to have verbs, and the third one, the most important one, to be verbs. So let's break each helping verb and learn in detail. And guys, trust me, after watching this video, you'll be easily able to use all the helping verbs. And the first category is to do verbs. And in this category, we have three helping verbs that are do, does, did. And in to have category, we have three more helping verb, that is has, have, had. And the last one in to be category, we have the helping verbs like is, am, are, was, were. And there are two more be forms like been and being. We'll discuss about them in the later part of video. And overall, we have three forms of helping verbs, and for better understanding, we call them as do forms, have forms, and be forms. So let's learn each of them in detail. And the most important point to remember while using the helping verbs are the do forms are always used in V1 form, that is in simple form or indefinite form, and have form are always used in V3 form, that is in perfect tense form, and be forms are always used in progressive tense, that is continuous tense, as it is also called as verb 1 plus ing form. And guys, to remember this formula, here is a simple trick. Verb plus D plus V plus 1 for using do forms. Verb plus do forms plus V1. And the next one, verb plus H plus V3. It means verb plus have plus V3. And the third one, verb plus be plus V1 ing. And now let's understand the usage of each of these forms in detail. And let's go with the do forms first. The do forms are do, does, did. And these do forms are mainly used in three ways. Like these verbs are used when asking questions, and they are also used to make a negative sentences. And the last one, they are also used to emphasize the sentences. Let's understand this with the examples. Do you like carrots? The second one, Did you do your course? Here in the both the examples, do and did are used as main verbs when asking questions. And let's know the examples where do forms are used in the negative forms or negative sentences. He does not want to go today. And in the given example, we can notice that does and want are the verbs and it is having a word not which makes the sentence negative. So let's move to the next one. She did not finish her supper. And in the given example, did and finish are the verbs, and we can see the negative word not to make the sentence as a negative sentence. And let's move to the third usage of do forms, that is to emphasize. Helping verb do is also used to emphasize a sentence like Tom and Bob did complete all of their homework. And the next example is Bill does love you. So guys, when we look at these examples closely, we do understand that the do forms are used for asking questions, to make a negative sentence and to emphasize the sentence. Okay, let's move on to the usage of do forms in various tenses and persons. The do forms are do, does, did. And guys, remember do and does are always used in present tense and did is always used in past tense. Does is used in singular with he, she, it, whereas do is used in plural with I, we, you, they. And obviously, did is used with both singular and plural form in the past tense. Let's move on to the have forms. The have forms are of three types like have, has, and had. These verbs are used as helping verbs to show an action that has already been completed. Example, Tim had spoken to his mom about the trip. The second example, Sally has eaten all her food. When we look at this both the examples closely, we can notice that here we are talking about the action which has already been completed, and hence we use the have forms always in the V3 form, that is in perfect form. And the have forms can also be used alone as main verbs, like he has a green car. The second one, I have a dog. In both the examples, we are using has and have as a main verb instead of a helping verbs. And in the have forms, that is have, has, and had is always used in the past tense, whereas has and have are always used in the present tense or perfect tense. We use have with I, we, you, they, and we use has with he, she, it, and obviously we use had with the past tense just like as we use did in the do forms. And guys, have forms can be both used in positive as well as negative sentence. For example, they have gone home, and the second one, he has not done the homework. When we look at this both the examples closely, we have used have forms, but the first one is a positive and the second one is the negative sentence. Alright, let's move on to the last form of verb, that is be forms. The be forms of verbs are is, am, are, was, and were. And for our better understanding, we divide these five verbs into two parts. The first part is, am, are, and the second one is was and were. And in the first part, is, am, are always used in the present tense, whereas was and were is always used in past tense. Before knowing the examples of the be forms, let's understand their usage in detail. Am is always used in present tense with first person I, whereas are is always used in present tense with we, you, and they. And is always used with he, she, it in the present tense. So let's understand with the examples. I am writing a poem. Here in this example, am is used in the present tense and with the first person I. So let's move to the next example. We are playing in the ground. They are doing the work and you are looking at the ball. And in all these three examples, we're using the be form are in the present tense with we, you, and they. And let's move to the usage of is. It is always used with he, she, it, like he is baking the cookies, She is baking the cookies. It is running on the track. And when it comes to the helping verbs, was and verb, we use both of them in the past tense. And was is always used with I, he, she, it, and whereas were is used with we, you, and they. So let's understand this with the examples. I was writing a poem. He was writing a poem. She was cooking in the kitchen. It was blinking at the night. All these examples are used in past tense and with the singular form, whereas were is also used with the past form but with the plural forms. Like, we were watching a movie. Second one, they were playing in the ground. And the third one, you were responsible for this. And my friends, the best way to remember the usage of be forms is, are always used with the present continuous tense, and was and were are always used in the past continuous tense. It's also called as progressive tense. And am is are always used with singular in present tense, and are is used in plural in the present tense, whereas was is used in singular with the past tense, and were is always used with the plural in the past tense. And guys, pause the video and have a look at the table to get the clear understanding about the usage of be forms. And that's all in this video, guys. Do watch the video of modal verbs also to get the clear understanding of the auxiliary verbs. And if you really like the content and the effort that we're putting into this channel, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.